Today's video will be super fun. We are going to look at ChatGPT-4o and how to use it for financial visualization. And this is really useful stuff. If you are interested in financial visualization, I recommend the Charming Data channel. This is the best channel on financial analysis, also combining with AI, so you can see the most recent videos of Adam, a friend of mine of Charming Data, is Plotly AI, so it's really great channel. Okay, but let's dive into financial visualization using ChatGPT-4o to do it for us, right? And we are going to use the NVidia 2024 NVidia Corporation Annual Review, as we did in yesterday's video. But in yesterday's video, we checked out its retrieval augmented generation capabilities, so how it can extract certain type of information to help us understand the financial information. But you see, this is like a corporate report. It's like it has some focus on design, and then you need to really, like, from all the text, you need to extract the relevant information. And there's a lot of corporate speak as well. I mean, I love NVIDIA as a company, but I mean, you have corporate speak, you have marketing speak, you have biased words, a word salad if you want, and sometimes you have like tables of numbers, right? So you have tabular data also, and not visually appealing data, like for instance data like this, right? And in this video we are going to look at how financial analysis today in June 2024 or beyond would actually analyze a financial report. And it doesn't start with double clicking on the PDF and opening the PDF and scanning through the PDF. It starts with ChatGPT. So we need to get into the habit of using ChatGPT first. So we simply download the report, we put it into ChatGPT window. This is our start for financial analysis. It is not opening the report, basically, right? It is, I mean, you can open the report obviously and scroll through the report, and I would still recommend you do this. But like, if you want to only maximize the yield of your financial analysis per unit of time, then the best thing is to just pull in the report. Okay, so let's have a look at some things we could ask ChatGPT for financial analysis. I have prepared some questions like plot the revenue growth over the past 5 fiscal years for different segments such as data center, gaming, professional visualization, and automotive. So if you checked out yesterday's video, you already know like these kind of categories. And yeah, I mean, if I didn't know the categories, I could ask it what are the revenue segments, right? And then it would give me those kind of categories, and then we can simply tell it to plot us separately the revenue of those 5 fiscal years, right? And so this is really useful stuff, right? Previously you would have to hire a research assistant or a financial expert to extract the data from this. You would have to hire, say, a data scientist to plot the data, to present it to you. So you needed to have an organization like Bloomberg or Morningstar that did nothing else but order and segment and prepare the data to in order to like make it visually appealing and extract the valuable information from such annual and quarterly reports, right? But now ChatGPT can basically do it. Like, look at this beautiful plot. So let's maybe zoom a bit out. Here you can see NVIDIA revenue growth over the past 5 fiscal years. It did it in seconds, right? It gave me the revenue in millions. So we have roughly 50 billion in revenue from one segment, which is the data center segment. And it's an interactive chart, right? I can now like switch to, I can now adjust some values here, like giving different colors or giving a different legend or stuff. I can make it a logarithmic chart, whatever I want. I can simply ask it in English language, and it will not only plot and prepare the data in a visually appealing way, it will also extract the data from reports like this. So it does like both the web scraping or the scrapping and extraction of information from some data and preparing it visually appealing. And you see like how the data center segment has exploded of NVIDIA. And if this is like a sustainable trend, then NVIDIA is still very cheap. Of course, if you expect that this will go back down, maybe temporarily, maybe it could have some kind of wave behavior, then the stock price might fall for for a year or two or so, and then maybe continue its upward trajectory. This is probably my most likely case, and personally I think it will maybe fall a bit and 10-20%. It won't be very cheap, right? Because we are in this AI revolution. That is really true. You can see it, right? With interacting with ChatGPT-4o, there's a lot to it. It is not a hype or so. It is really underhyped in a way because I mean, being able to do something like this is worth 100K per year. So this is real value creation that is done completely automatically in split seconds. So compare the next visualization we are going to look at, NVIDIA visualization, is compare the operating income of each segment over the past 5 fiscal years to identify trends and contributions to total operating income. So this is really like niche stuff, right? So we want to we check the operating income of each of those segments, and we try to identify trends and contribution of the different segments, right? And you see here, like automotive has had negative operating income, right? So this was like the trend is automotive income is still negative, and here we see gaming is like a solid operating income, but then of course most of the operating income comes from data center. So data center, the orange line, makes up, I don't know, maybe 99%. You could now ask percentage-wise, you could now ask what is the percentage of data center revenue over time. It can even give you a plot as well, and you would see that the percentage would be percentage growth as well. So NVIDIA is basically a data center company now that sells data centers to huge hyperscalers, right, and huge companies, and even nation states now with sovereign AI and stuff, right? Okay, let's have a look at the next question, the next visualization, a bar chart showing the year-over-year percentage revenue growth for the entire company and each major segment. This is really interesting, right? So this is a percentage revenue growth is what we are interested in, because as shareholders, we are interested in percentage returns, not in absolute returns. I mean, if you paid 100K for a stock like Berkshire Hathaway, and we have a 1K increase in revenue or so, then per share, then it would be very insignificant. It would be only 1%, right? So we care about the percentage revenue growth, and we see here in orange again we have data center. It's even consistent across the different plots it gave me. And mind you, I just gave it the PDF, and it was able to give me like to output these kind of beautiful looking charts. So it helps my understanding. The ratio of value to fluff is really high for ChatGPT if you use it this way, right? It is much higher than reading the report, because reading the report is mostly fluff. Mostly it's like corporate speak, it's accounting language and stuff, right? I mean, we need to look beyond the accounting language and the corporate marketing, branding stuff in order to get to this raw data. So this would be like extracting it from the report with the many words would be very, very difficult, right? Again, the report looks something like this. Yeah, very difficult to read. It takes a lot of time to go through this 180 pages. Now we simply pull in the PDF and tell it to give us visualization, give us the data, and it gives us this kind of percentage growth. And you see, even though the revenue segment of data center was percentage-wise the highest revenue segment, it starts from a high base. The growth of the segment was also highest, right? So this is like a total killer application. Good. Let's have a look at another question that would be plot NVIDIA's TSR over the past 5 fiscal years and compare it with the S&P 500 index. TSR is a total shareholder return. So this is like if you want to check out the total shareholder return of NVIDIA stockholders, then you could be interested in something like this. And you see in yellow we have the TSR of NVIDIA, which has simply smoked the S&P 500 TSR, right, which was like 1.65 compared to 20.56. So this is really insane, right? Of course, the question would be now to find out if it can continue. For instance, now let's examine the pie charts or bar graphs showing the revenue distribution across different geographical regions, such as Americas, EMEA, or APEC. So these are the different regions in the world, and you can see that the Europe, Middle East, and Africa region actually has seen a consistent. Maybe can I make it a bit larger? Here. So we see on the y-axis we see the revenue in millions US dollars. So higher is better, and in red we see. Let me check. Red should be Americas. Blue should be Europe, Middle East, and Africa, and this greenish, I think, should be Asia Pacific. So you see the revenue from Asia Pacific is actually, okay, so we have the legend here in the bottom. Yeah, it was exactly as I said. So you see most of the revenue actually comes from Asia Pacific, which is really interesting. So Asia, the Asia region is really in a leading position in terms of AI, and it is certainly one of the most dominating regions in the upcoming century. It will be. It already is, and it will remain to expand its lead because they really take it serious. So in many people in our region, like in the Europe and American region, don't really take it very serious. AI, they often are very skeptical and critical and argue that it is not capable of doing this and that, so they don't take it serious. And but this is not the case for the Asia region. So here this last question didn't seem to work. Compare annual capital expenditures with annual depreciation expenditures over the past 5 years. Didn't work, right? I mean, there's no comparison, no visible chart at least. So sometimes it will also, like as a human, it won't be perfect yet. Let's check the research and development expenditure as a percentage of total revenue over the past 5 fiscal years. So this would be interesting if you want to examine first how efficient they are. So they're you see like there was huge efficiency. They have, as a percentage of revenue, they have spent less and less and less for research and development, but which could also be a red flag in a way. It could be seen as a positive, right, because they become more efficient, but it is also now a red flag because it now attracts competitors that could outspend them on research and development, and maybe take a small portion or growing portion of the data center pie, right, that is now held by NVIDIA. And they wouldn't have to spend such a big percentage of their revenue if NVIDIA is only spending 6% and say the closest competitor would spend 60% on research and development. They would make less profit, but they could maybe gain some market share in the end. So the margin, as Jeff Bezos said, your margin is my opportunity, right? And as the margin of NVIDIA increases, actually it also increases the competition and the global competition, and it makes it more attractive for new businesses to enter the market. But of course, I mean, this is completely future scenarios, future threats, right? All businesses actually have future threats, and we shouldn't like shy away from businesses only because they are risky. They can still be very, very valuable and accrue huge amounts of shareholder values, even though there is risk, right? There's no company that isn't subject to market risk and competition. Apple has competition. It's still the most valuable company on earth now, obviously threatened by NVIDIA in terms of their revenue and its position in the world. So let's have a look at the employees growth. So how many employees do they work at NVIDIA, and do they correlate with revenue and operating income growth? So this would be a very interesting question, right? So you as a shareholder could analyze and understand how more employees contribute to a higher, or at least is there correlation? Could be correlation, no causation, could be causation, but what is the relationship between employees and revenue? And of course, if we hire more employees, we would like to see more revenue as well, and this is actually the case. In blue, we see the number of employees. In this green, we see the total revenue. In red, we see the operating income, and we see like how they have consistently increased their headcount. They now have like 17,500 employees and make revenue like of in the order of 60 billion operating in total revenue. And so you could also calculate revenue per employee and plot over time. This would be a very interesting figure, right? Something like this you wouldn't find in the shareholder report, but you could easily iterate with the data and let it do some calculations. And you see the revenue per employee. This is a really encouraging statistic, I think. Revenue per employee has been growing, so they have been using their employees more and more effectively, basically by enriching their work with AI and with good salesmanship, with branding and stuff, right? With all the beautiful stuff, they've become more efficient. And now, like in 2021, they made around $1 million per employee in a given year. Now they make, NVidia makes 3.5 million per employee. This is why they can pay 6 figures to an employee, right? If they make 3.5 million and have a profit margin of say 50%, they would make a profit of 1.75 million per employee every single year. And if they pay on average 100K or so per employee, then this would basically mean they have like more than 10x profit of the expenses for employees. And of course, they couldn't scale it forever. They would have to hire only the best employees. Maybe this is the limiting factor, to find those employees that can actually give you these kind of asymmetric returns, sorry. Good, so let's have a look at the earnings per share growth. So I want to have a line chart showing the growth of both GAAP and non-GAAP earnings per share over the past 5 fiscal years. And take some time. Obviously there will be some growth as well, right? We see this huge spike in growth of both GAAP and non-GAAP income, and non-GAAP is usually higher because GAAP is a very conservative way of accounting standard. So let's have one last plot to show the insane capabilities of ChatGPT-4o for financial visualization. We want to plot key financial ratios such as gross margin, operating margin, net profit margin over the past 5 fiscal years. It's kind of the dream tool, right, for financial analysis. I don't know why it's not more common yet. They can just ask any type of question and get the immediate answer for it. Here we see the key financial ratios. We see percentage increase by fiscal year, and the gross margin in red. We have 72% gross margin, which is kind of an insane gross margin, compared to 62 in 2020. So we have had operating leverage, operating efficiency. Operating margin was 27% and has grown to 54%. So they really have a monopoly there, right? So nobody else can compete with NVIDIA. That's why they have such big margins. That's why they can charge so much for their GPU hardware, because they are still cheaper than competitors by offering this holistic product suite solution for AI training and inference. And both net profit margin, operating margin have increased. So this is kind of, as I said, the dream tool for a financial analyst. In this one kind of short 19-minute session now, I have shown you huge amount of value for a financial analyst. If you are a financial analyst, you know that you would have to spend a day at least, maybe a week, to extract this data from reports, to plot the data, to make it as visually appealing as these kind of graphs and charts, and you can make a presentation now for your bosses and impress them with your in-depth knowledge and understanding of the company, of the quantitative statistics of the company. And And now it's like one session in 19 minutes, and I could even have made this much quicker if I hadn't to explain all of this, right? So I could make this in 3-4 minutes, and it's not because of my Python or plotting skills. It's just because of using the newest and latest AI technology, right? So this is really a productivity enhancer if I've ever seen one, and it democratizes access to financial data for all of us. If you're a retail shareholder, you can now outperform traditional financial analysts working for Bloomberg, working for Morningstar, working for large hedge funds and so on, but maybe that are not as proficient in using this new technology as you are. And you can really understand a company in depth by loading up these reports and simply prompting and plotting stuff and analyzing the data, giving you TLDRs, extracting information from financial data this way, as I've shown in this video and also other videos on the Finxter channel. And if you are interested in these type of things, to be on the right side of change, to get an alpha in today's world and tomorrow's world, then give me a like, subscribe to the channel. I release new videos like this every day. I try to, at least. Usually I can release like 5 to 7 videos per week. And my main purpose in life is to help Finxters be on the right side of change. So if you want to be on the right side of change, then you might want to subscribe to the Finxter channel, to the Finxter email newsletter. We already have 150,000 subscribers. You can Google it online, it's free. And you can also check out the Finxter Academy if you really want to push it to the next level. It's like our paid program, but very cheap compared to university, and focusing on the education that is actually making sense, right? It is actually has some value in today's marketplace as compared to university education, where you can only get skills that are already stale, that have close to zero value on the open market. Nobody would hire like a university student with only university student courses skills, right? Because they are just not so useful anymore. And 99% of the cases, you would have to prove some additional skills on top of the skills you learned at university. And these are the kind of skills we teach at the Finxter Academy. So we focus on the high value, disruptive skills to leverage the potential of each and every Finxter student. Whether you are in the paid program or in the free program, it's the same value promise, but obviously we can do a bit more with the Academy students. So also consider joining the Academy and supporting the Finxter channel, supporting your own journey towards financial proficiency and financial freedom, hopefully. No promises, but we collectively, we Finxters have been staying on the right side of change. We have seen huge successes in our ranks, and we have been growing together since 2017 or so, when I started the Finxter movement. Thanks for watching again, and see you in the next video. Bye.